I've read some of your insight on the topic of friendship, intimacy, passion, and tenderness in marriage. I loved it. I'm concerned about the direction dating is going. A lot of Catholic guys are very angry at women, yet still looking to marry, and a lot more women are skittishly responding by opting out of marriage. Um, I definitely want to fall passionately in love with a guy I can look up to and trust his gifts and spiritual life, but I also hope to be best friends with the guy I fall in love with, i.e., being a woman of talents from God. I hope my husband can appreciate, admire, and respect the gifts I bring that aren't purely feminine genius, but are human gifts and trust me too. I want to be heard and respected. I think most women do. I know
Mhm.
marriages where such appreciation for their wives' intelligence does not exist, and they are miserable if they last.
Yeah.
Um, there
Um,
you go.
a lot of times you'll see marriage statistics based on a successful marriage is one that doesn't get divorced. And so these marriages succeeded and these marriages fail. I think the problem with those kinds of studies is, yeah, they've succeeded in the sense they haven't thrown in the towel, but what is the quality of relationship that they have? Let's say 50% or whatever end up divorced, 50% stay together. Are those successful? What if 80 of those 50% are miserable with each other and they can't stand one another? Is that a successful marriage? I mean, in one sense that they haven't given up, but is that really the kind of marriage that you want to be in where you're truly thriving? Odds are no, you want something better. So how do you end up there? First thing I'd say, if you're currently in a relationship, look what you have, not what you want. Meaning, how's the state of our friendship now? Is it really good? Because as you had mentioned, some guys do have some bitterness towards the female sex. And often it's that it's rooted in some type of rejection or betrayal or disappointment that they'd suffered. And they haven't really processed through that. And it kind of just seeps out in the relationship of just kind of a looking down upon the fairer sex and not really appreciating anything that she has to offer. And that can become a really toxic situation in a relationship such as marriage, where the other person's opinion actually should be valued. That women can sometimes spot stuff guys can't spot. I remember seeing Donald Trump talking about, he'd have these meetings with Putin. He'd be like, I think that went really well. And then Melania's like, yeah, he just bombed, 15 cities a half hour ago. And he's like, oh, well, and that's why, he said he's learned so much just listening to Melania about the insights she has on the character of Putin, instead of just going on what Putin tells him in these private meetings. And so to be able to listen to your helpmate instead of thinking, well, I'm the man, I've got all the information and you just need to follow my lead. Look at the pace that's set in the dating relationship. Are you content with that? Because like you said, you want to marry your best friend. Crystal and I got to do a Pints with Aquinas episode, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, it just came out. And in it, we just got real raw and honest. I'd encourage you to go watch it on Matt's channel about just the struggles of marriage, the difficulty in marriage, sometimes the long seasons of abstinence that might be required in marriage. And I noticed that someone put a comment under the video where they said, oh my gosh, this is totally the story of our marriage. And the wife said, but thank God my husband and I are best friends. So even if we can't be close in that way, we enjoy each other's company so much that we've discovered all these other forms of intimacy, of this social intimacy and intellectual and spiritual, that our marriage is done just fine, although we've had to go through that road of the cross as well. And so ultimately, that's who you want to marry, your best friend and nobody else, because you can have passion, without friendship, but you can't have intimacy without friendship. And so really pay attention to what you have, not what you hope to have.
There are going to be times of really harsh singleness and loneliness that I think a lot of people have to go through before they actually find the one. And everybody is, it seems like with the dating, they're looking on the outside in the culture and they're just looking for the one in apps and everything else. And a lot of the times they're incredibly disappointed because they're looking in places where God is not. And there is a time in a person's life, I think God gives them, of having that time alone, of having time to self-reflect, of having time to build actually a relationship with him. And this is completely counter of what the culture is shoving down your throat. I understand that. And maybe it even seems old fashioned, but at the same time, what if it's real? What if it's true? What if God is actually inviting you to have some just uninterrupted time with him to build who he wants you to become, because that's exactly what happened with me. I immersed myself in the dating culture and everything the world had to offer, and I was miserable. I was disgusted with myself. I was alone, even though I was still dating. And it was gross. It was just gross. And I felt gross. And when I had my conversion, I got out of that, or my reversion. I did take that time away. And there was this time of extreme loneliness, of figuring out what I wanted, who I was, in God, and what he was calling me to be. But it was intense. It was hard. And I longed for communion with someone. I longed to date someone, but I also didn't want to lower my standards and eat out of the garbage anymore. So it was a hard time. And you are going to go through that. I want you to hear me. It is going to be hard sometimes, but that's okay, because in those hard times, what is your go-to, And do you need that fast little fix in porn? Is it Netflix? Is it drugs? Is it going to a bar and getting some cheap attention? I mean, what is it? But at the end of the day, what is it you want? What is God calling you to? And it's like, well, I don't hear God. Yes, you do. I know you hear God. I hear God. And even when I was sinning and I was in the depths of a pit of hell, I still heard his voice: leave, go, don't do this. A part of you does hear God, but it's hard. It's hard to go down that path. It's hard to listen. It's hard to stay faithful to the church's teaching. It's going to be hard to go to church. But in the end, the hardest things are always the most worthwhile. So do not give up. Do not get discouraged. Do not give in to the trinkets and the garbage of the world that it wants to feed you, but hold fast to what deep down you know is true, and have some standards and accountability for yourself, and really think, like, where am I at with God? What is he calling me to be or do? And maybe it scares you, because some of you are not supposed to be dating. Some of you have a vocation, let's be honest, and you're scared to death, and you want to just run out there and immerse yourself in the women and the men and say, wow, this is just, I don't have a vocation. Well, maybe you do. And maybe you need to take it more seriously too, and not to go down that path, but it's a serious thing. This is the rest of your life. And the God of heaven and earth is calling each of you to something, and to ignore that is very serious. And it's going to affect the rest of your life. And if you are single and you have time right now, take it really seriously. And we have this like garbage message from the world, like, this is the time you need to have fun and do what you can and go and experience things. And in the end, you are left broken, messed up, and just disappointed. And I felt just gross. I just absolutely felt it, and it's not worth it. So no, do not take that message just to go live it up and do what you can right now in your younger years. Take it seriously. Take the matters of your heart seriously right now, because in the long run and the rest of your life, it matters the decisions you make right now, and not be so obsessed with having that other person next to you, but be more obsessed with, wow, what is it God actually created me to be, and step into that. And you will be a force to be reckoned with for God, if that's what you choose and that's what you want.
I have a question. You guys said, like, you want to marry your best friend. We talked about a couple weeks ago, I don't remember if it was last time Crystal was on or the time after that, we talked about telling men and women, guys don't date women who just want you to be one of their girlfriends, and girls don't date guys who want you to be. So what is the difference between a marriage friendship and like a friendship that people are used to having with their friends of the same sex? Because obviously when you say best friend, like, you don't want to encourage this young woman or any women to be looking for a guy who's a girlfriend, right? Like,
well, there's obviously an attraction there.
Yeah. So like, what does that look like? What's that difference look like?
I think the difference is the same as the difference between a cul-de-sac and a road. I mean, a cul-de-sac, you ain't going anywhere. I mean, a road, like, there's a destination to it. And so I think sometimes in these friendships where she wants him to be her male girlfriend, it's a cul-de-sac. Like, she's totally content there. It doesn't need to go any further. It's a good space for her to be. She likes it. Whereas he's like, where's this going? Like, are we going to start dating? Could we get married one day and raise a family? And if that's not on her radar and she has no interest, that's the cul-de-sac. You're not going anywhere. Where there needs to be some intentionality behind this, that, okay, we're fostering a friendship and it seems that there's a mutual attraction. We both feel called to the sacrament of marriage. And I think you might be a suitable spouse. Let's explore this together. And so if it seems like, man, it just seems like we're just going in circles here, we're not really moving with any direction. When I try to initiate or ask her on a date or try to make things go one direction, she just doesn't seem interested. That's the difference. Is there a mutual interest in exploring a vocation together, or is it just like we hang out and it never leads anywhere?
Yeah.
I'm talking like about the guys who like they're like couples who are dating, and the guys want the girl to just be like all their other guy friends, but also he's attracted to her, and the girls or like the vice versa situation where the girl wants the guy to be like all her other girlfriends and go shopping and just do like watch, romance movies, but wants to be attracted to. I'm talking about that. Like specifically.
Okay. So,
like,
so they are on a road.
They already are.
They're
on a road, but like
that's a relationship.
Like one or the other.
You're describing a relationship. That's like a give and take. Like, of course, I expect Jason to go shopping. Is he miserable sometimes? Yes. But you know what? At the end of the day, there are things that I like to do and things that he likes to do and things we like to do together. And it's good that we take part in that. Like, I literally had to go salmon fishing with bears and everything else. And, I had to stick my hand. Well, oh, please. And I had to stick my hands in a fish. Like, that was not my ideal thing.
Oh, yeah. She's sticking both gills.
It was gross. It was gross. And I just gave him a big kiss. You know what I like? It was just like, I'm here.
I mean, that is
totally here.
It's my screensaver.
Oh, he loves it.
On my phone.
Loves it.
Crystal. That's right. Crystalina.
It's not going to show it.
It's black. I'll show it on screen. Don't worry.
I'm telling you. But did you think I literally? Oh yeah. You know what? But that was me loving my husband, and that was his deal. Now, is Jason going to go and maybe go to a Frank? Who's that? I love that guy. Who's that? Forrest Frank concert with me? Yes, I'm going to drag him there one day. Yes, you are. See, but that's what we do. We love each other. We go to things with each other. And I'm going shed hunting. Do I want to go shed hunting? No, but will I wear cute boots and a cute hat and I'll do it up? Yes, I will. And I will enjoy it with my husband. But we have to do certain things to love them and they feel loved, because it's important, I think, for men to know that you can do things with them. But it's also, it makes us feel love that it's vice versa. It's just a relationship.
So I guess the answer is like, when you enjoy doing those things with that person.
It's not even just enjoying. Sometimes you grit your teeth and you do it out of love for them. And then maybe you have some fun in it, like shed hunting or whatever else it is. And I do. And it gives us time to talk and hang out. But would that be my ideal date? No.
Yeah.
But we do have our ideal date. So it's a matter of just like the ebbs and flows of loving each other, and
I think it's important too that the guy have guy friends that he can fulfill his male interests in predominantly. And she has female friends that she can sit at a coffee shop for an hour and just talk about all these kinds of things. Yeah. That's important, because when that's not there, and he's expecting her to meet all his masculine needs and she's expecting him to meet all her feminine emotional needs, it can get overbearing, I think, for both of them. And so to me, it's not an either and, but it's either or, but both and, meaning, I need to hear her out when she wants to vent about this thing or that thing. But if she doesn't have girlfriends, family members that she can really vent this stuff out on a deeper level, maybe for the guy, it's like, I can only, they say men only speak a certain number of words per day. I think it's like 7,000 words a day. I've heard it said that women, speak about 20,000 words a day. I don't think that men only have a limit in terms of how much we speak. I think we have a limit in terms of how much we can hear. And what I mean by that is I remember when I was doing my graduate studies, I had been offered a job by Catholic Answers in San Diego after the summer of my freshman year, but they wanted me to come back. And I said, but I want to get my master's. And they said, well, just go get it quickly and come back. So I went to Franciscan, to my academic advisor, who's Dr. Scott Hahn. And I said, look, I got this great opportunity to go back to work full-time for Catholic Answers, but I want to get my master's. How fast can we turn this around? And we kind of looked at the credits and he's like, we could double up all this stuff and you could be done in 10 months. And I said, could I have permission? And he gave me permission to get a master's degree in 10 months. But what this means is the class load was nuts. I had to quit the baseball team in college. And I just had to really zero in. And I remember sitting in one of his classes. It was not like a 101 class. It was like a 704 class. Like, this is heavy academic stuff, studying his doctoral dissertation on Hebrews and Galatians. It's like a 700-page book. And I remember I was sitting there in class one day and I'm just like staring at my pen. And Dr. I was like, Jason, you okay there? And I'm like, yes, I'm here. Yes, Galatians. Yes, where were we? My brain was literally full. Like I could hear only so many words that day, and my brain everything was just kind of like overflowing out of the top. And the reason I go into that is because sometimes in conversations, if the woman is seeking for the male to be her sole emotional and verbal outlet for all of life's questions and challenges and fears, he could kind of shut down, I think. And so I just think it's important. Let's be all around this. Guy's got to get his guy friends. Josiah needs his poker nights. Crystalina needs her coffee shop dates with her girlfriends and her women's Bible study. That's super healthy. And when that's not there, I think we perhaps expect emotionally too much from each other.
They're not unlimited outlets for you. That's why you have other girlfriends. You have to be an all around person. They can't be like your one and only. And I think couples make that mistake. It's healthy and it's good. You have different outlets, and he goes and he does his thing sometimes. I do my thing sometimes, and that's good. And that's great. And that's healthy. One thing I do want to address, and I think it was even in the other question, is that the person that you are with should not be threatened by your gifts or your talents or want to hold you back in any way. They should set that fire ablaze even more so. And the same thing goes vice versa, to lift each other up and help you grow in your gifts, and by keeping you all to their self, because that happens in relationships. I just think you're withering that fire. You're kind of extinguishing that. But when you encourage them to go out and study something, or go have friends, or go to a Bible study, or my book group that I love to go to at St. Bernadette's, it's important that you have that support, because that's healthy in a relationship. And if you don't have that, you need to look at your relationship, because there's probably more problems than just that.
And I want to share something Crystalina and I started doing.
Dr. Bob.
I'm trying to do on a nightly basis.
Thing.
It's just a nightly kind of check-in with each other, and it's just supposed to only take 5 minutes. But we go through appreciations. Hey, I appreciate today that you did blah, blah, blah. New information. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, this thing's going on here. Puzzles. Yeah, I'm kind of confused. I'm not quite sure what to do with this. So appreciation, new information, puzzles. Complaints with a request for change, which is just basically, hey, this happened earlier in the day. I didn't really mention it, but hey, I just want to put it on the radar. Nothing major, just simple. Yeah. Then apologies. I'm sorry you don't realize that I never hurt you to begin with and that you're oversensitive. Just real sincere faux apologies. Prayer requests. Oh, I forgot to tell you this is going on. And then the last one is wishes, hopes, and dreams. Which is great. And so Crystal and I are trying to get into a daily rhythm. What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? And are we getting closer to those? Or am I making your dreams a priority for me? And so you can see that if your partner has these academic aspirations or talents or gifts or things they want to achieve, those have got to be on your radar for a healthy relationship to thrive. So this is a daily check-in thing that you could do on a regular basis, not only in a marriage relationship, but I think even in a dating one. Do my dreams matter to this person, or are we both caring for the same person, them? It's a good question to ask. Hey, if you enjoyed that clip, I'd encourage you to please like, subscribe, share, comment. That helps show it to more people. And then also submit your question at the email live@chastity.com, or submit your question or call in through our Discord server so we can talk to you in person on our next show.